Um, Business schools are going to study the car business from a retail sales, inventory, industry. It's a fascinating story. In COVID, because we were somewhat locked down and couldn't go on to dealership lots in most cases, some states stay open, but in most cases, people were at home just out of fear, right?
Right.
So car dealers had to react. And what happened is the customer, the retail customer, got control of the sales process. And then in 2021, things started to change again rapidly,
Mm,
brought on by first and foremost the chip shortage.
yeah.
So we have these fires in the factories, the chip shortage starts, and all of a sudden, and guess what? They're building less cars. So all of a sudden, inventory starts to go down. We have less cars. We have more demand because people got cash, right? And now that was
Right.
the kind of fun thing. All of a sudden, we've got cash that we can go spend and buy a new car.
Right.
So you've got demand goes up, you've got shortages and inventory go down, and then all of a sudden prices skyrocket. The next big punch to consumer control was interest rates.
Mm,
So that was the 1-2 punch that then turned the industry back upside down. So pause there for a second. Right before 2020, personally, I knew of a number of different dealership groups, dealerships that were essentially told, you build a new facility or you don't get the logo anymore, right? 2022 comes around, everybody's starting to get back to normal. The pandemic's over, we're back to normal. And yeah, this is what they're doing. And guess where those dealer principals or general managers are wanting to sell cars? I mean, they're sitting in an office that's gorgeous, and there's nobody in this store.
right.
I want people in this store, right? And
Hmm.
so you layer over that automotive retailing, online retailing, and you can definitely see the story, which was digital retailing took off, went crazy, right? And the pinnacle of that time, or that's an indication of the pinnacle of that importance, was Roadster being sold for $360 million in cash, right? CDK said, here's $360 million to the owners of Roadster and bought it on cash, right? And that was at the height of this whole thing going on early on in the pandemic process. And then now, at post 2021, 2022, here we are in 2025, automotive retailing is just sort of sucking wind, right?
Right.
Because guess what? Customers are happy. They're doing this again. They're happy going into the store.
Mm,
And so you're right. The big challenge that most stores have is, what is the importance of automotive retailing? How do we sell cars in 2025? I think they're still trying to figure it out, because automotive retailing, digital retailing has challenges, right? It's not a complete, total end-to-end process. That's well documented. When it becomes a complete end-to-end process, there will be, I think, a little bit more emphasis on that channel, because um, again, the labor force is kind of interesting right now. I know that car dealers are looking for anyone who's willing to, sell cars.
right.
And selling cars today it's getting more and more where you're taking in sort of that order taker. You're not, the nuance of selling the car isn't quite what it used to be. There are a lot of very good sales professionals out there, so we don't want rotten tomatoes being thrown at the screen right now. Um, and it's truly not what it used to be, where you
Mhm.
had someone who was a professional salesperson at a dealership. So all of those forces have created this soup of uncertainty of how the industry will move forward.
Today, I'm a car dealership today, and I have got to get in front of people digitally, and I've got to be able to stop partially through, I've got to be able to cater to people that are going to stop partially through and be like, I want to go in there actually, or now I'm ready. Let me go ask them something. Somebody's walking in the store, somebody's halfway through the process, somebody wants to check out fully online. Like, what is a dealership to do when they have customers in all different places that want all different experiences? Top tier experience. As you know, that's like the big thing right now. You've got to have five-star customer experience or you're dead. Like, so you
Right.
better give the best experience to everybody, everywhere, at all times. How can you do it?
First and foremost, it really does. And I'm not saying anything that dealership's going to go. I never thought of that. I mean, they've been doing business for 80,000 years. They
Mhm.
know what they're doing, and it starts with their DMS system. It's the core of their whole operation. It is the central nervous system. So leveraging what the new things are that are coming out that work or don't work, and to replace or use a competitive vendor for a segment. It's this patchwork right now until some of those things shake out when it comes to true digital retailing. And there's lots of companies out there that are helping dealers to navigate that sort of hop, skip, jump to take a customer into ultimately a research to a deciding pathway. So I don't think that there's any magic silver bullet. I don't think there's any, yellow brick road for, for dealerships right now. I think it's using the best understanding of how your market works, where you are, to put together, the best process that you can have. I mean, you may have a rural dealer that, doesn't do much online, right? You might have
Right.
a store that's right in the middle of the city that does a ton because everybody's got a smartphone and everybody is hammering on their website, on Saturday morning. So,
Um, things are different. Like, it used to be, we say 100% of the time you present accessories during wait time for F&I because your customer has been in there for 5 to 7 business days and like they're hangry, we're all exhausted. Like, this is when you present accessories. The time is now. But everything's different now. First of all, nobody's in the store that long anymore. And we're like, we're starting at all different times. So, what's the advice to dealerships today that understand the importance of selling accessories and are not sure how to do it?
yeah, it's fascinating. I believe strongly, and Insignia Group as a company is going in the direction that the accessory awareness, selection, decision is going to start happening much, much, much earlier in the process. Um, it really was when back in the day when we started this, it really was that perfect filler for that time before F&I. And it made sense because a lot of the purchase process, the decision making of what car to buy was with that salesperson back and forth, this test drive, that test drive, this color, that color. We had to come up with ways for the majority of salespeople to be comfortable with that conversation happening right before F&I. The
Hmm.
stress was off. The sale was almost done. The customer has landed. Now let's entertain them with an accessory awareness and option and potential purchase. And
Right.
much to our delight, and much to the salesperson's delight, much to the dealership's delight, that worked because I'm the next car buyer. I've done a ton of research. I have looked at probably 25 different VINs online from different dealerships. I
Right.
have narrowed it down to three different VINs. This is the one I want, right?
Mhm.
I'll be okay with this VIN. I'll settle for that VIN, but this is the VIN I want, right? And so I come into the store and I meet Whitney, the salesperson, who's bubbly and ready to sell me a car. And I'm like, Whitney, show me this one, right?
Hmm.
And you're like, let's go, let's go for a test drive, right? So there wasn't, there isn't the opportunity once they've landed on that, or once they've done a whole bunch of that different work, all of a sudden they're getting into the F&I office a lot faster, right? They may have all their credit check done online. I mean, all that wait time that we were typically waiting on is gone. When I'm, basically saying, this is the car, we've done the test drive, I've already given you all my paperwork, I'm ready to get out of the store, I'm ready to sign papers and get out of here. I almost have this challenge as the customer. I got out of there in 30 minutes, right?
Hmm.
I'm on a race. I'm on a clock. I want an hour. That's it,
Right,
right?
right.
And so where we are going and where we are directing is getting that accessory awareness earlier in the sales process. And so a wonderful thing happened for us or actually right before 2020. A wonderful thing happened for us. We went to the Fortellis conference, which was all about an API marketplace that CDK was spinning up. And we came home from that conference and we're like, for the first time in our 20, that was almost 20-year history, we thought about an API would be pretty cool for us to maybe offer. We had some e-commerce solutions that were using our data. We had some opportunities to perhaps offer an API for our vehicle images. So we developed an API. So in a very short period of time, our API was consumed and built into a number of um, prominent and well-used digital retailing platforms, which was great, right? And so the data is there, the visualization sometimes is there. One of our great integrations of the car now, they have our visualization built in. So we're super pleased about that. And so instead of being this company that is focused on training that next salesperson like we've been doing for the last, 15 years, we're going back to our roots and becoming a software company that is really providing the content that these other software vendors, so taking you all the way back to the beginning of our conversation about how these software vendors are coming together to create, once again, big graphic omni-channel experience. We now get to play a role in that by providing our API, providing our content so that the selection, the option, the decision to add accessories is way upstream now. And so, the idea is that we provide that, and it flips our script of the accessories industry at a car dealer. It really flips it on its head. We used to say, "Oh, don't mention accessories at the beginning of the sale. Just leave that till the F&I,
Oh,
decision time."
right.
Now it's no, 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 get it early, early.
Immediately.
Make
Yeah.
it part of the actual selection of the car. I didn't know I could add that. So it's really turning our accessory segment of the industry on its head, like everything else, and moving it upstream, which is so important in that process.